You know that feeling when a company announces some brilliant new strategy and then, well, nothing really happens? It's this super common story, right? A great idea gets announced, but it gets totally lost somewhere between the big meeting and the people actually doing the work. Today, we're diving into the discipline that's designed to fix that exact problem: business architecture. Think of it as the master blueprint for turning your strategy into reality. All right, so here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll talk about that core problem, what's called the strategy execution gap. Then we'll introduce the solution, the business blueprint. After that, we're going to peek inside and look at its anatomy, see how it actually gets put into practice. And finally, we'll take a look at what's next for this whole field. So first up, let's really dig into this challenge that honestly plagues so many organizations, whether they're huge or just starting out. It's the reason why so many really promising ideas just never quite get off the ground. And that leads us to the million-dollar question. I mean, you've got the vision, you've got smart people, the teams are working their tails off. So why do so many smart, well-funded strategies just fall flat? Where does it all go wrong? Well, more often than not, the culprit is this right here, the strategy execution gap. It's this giant chasm between the amazing plans made in the boardroom and what actually happens day to day. Seriously, this is where good ideas go to die. It leads to departments not talking to each other, money being wasted on the same thing over and over, and just a total misalignment where nobody's pulling in the same direction. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? How do we build a bridge across that massive gap? And that, my friends, brings us to our hero concept, the business blueprint. Now, this blueprint has a proper name, business architecture. And let's be super clear, this is not just about drawing some org charts or process flows. Nope, it is the master plan for how your organization actually works, how it creates value, delivers it to customers, and captures it for itself. This is the thing, the critical link that connects those high-level strategic goals directly to what people are doing every day. I love this analogy because it just clicks. Think about your company like it's a city. Business architecture is the urban planning. A good urban planner doesn't just focus on one building, right? They design the roads, the power grids, the water systems, all the stuff that connects everything and allows the whole city to function and grow. That's exactly what this does for a business. All right, so if we're calling it a blueprint, what's actually in it? What are the key pieces? Let's pop the hood and break down its anatomy. At its heart, when you boil it all down, the entire blueprint is really built on two foundational pillars. And together, they give us this amazingly clear picture of what the organization does and how it gets it done. First, we have business capabilities. You can think of these as the nouns of your business. They define what your business does. And the key thing here is that they're super stable. They don't really change, and they are totally independent of technology. For instance, a bank will always need the capability for credit risk management. It needed it 100 years ago with a paper ledger, and it needs it today with a crazy AI algorithm. The what stays the same even if the how changes completely. These are your fundamental building blocks. And the second piece? Value streams. So if capabilities are the nouns, value streams are the verbs. They describe how you deliver value to a customer. It's that end-to-end sequence of activities that strings a bunch of capabilities together to produce an outcome. You know, a classic example is a retailer's order-to-delivery stream. That whole process involves capabilities like inventory management, payment processing, and logistics, all working together in a perfect sequence to get that package to your door. Okay, so we've got the blueprint, we've got our capabilities and our value streams. Now for the most important part. How do we actually use this thing to make a real difference? Let's look at how this plan becomes a reality. It's actually a really logical 5-step cycle. First, you've got to deeply understand the business strategy. I mean, where are we trying to go? Then you model your current state, the as-is, to get an honest look at where you are today. From there, you design the target state, the to-be, that's going to help you achieve those goals. Step 4 is the fun part. You create the detailed roadmap to get from here to there. And finally, and this is crucial, you govern the whole process and constantly measure your progress to make sure the changes are actually working. Now that sounds like a pretty rigorous process, and it is. Which leads to the obvious question, what's the payoff? Is it really worth all the effort? Oh yeah, the benefits are massive. You get true strategic alignment, which means every project, every dollar spent, is actually pushing the company forward. You find all the places you're doing the same work twice and get way more efficient. This lets you make way better investment decisions. And because everyone is literally on the same page, working from the same map, your ability to change and adapt gets so much faster. I mean, this slide really says it all, doesn't it? Before, you're living in a world of silos, redundant work, and constantly putting out fires. After, you're moving to a world of real collaboration, efficiency, and making smart, proactive changes. The whole organization just becomes more agile. It's a total game changer. So, that's what business architecture looks like today. But this discipline is anything but static. So let's wrap things up by looking ahead at the really exciting architecture of tomorrow. And the future is moving incredibly fast. We're starting to see AI that can help automatically map out and optimize a business. This concept of a digital twin, a live virtual simulation of your entire company, is quickly moving from science fiction to reality. We're also seeing it merge with agile methods for faster execution, and even being used to model huge challenges, like a company's sustainability and ESG goals. And all of this leaves us with one final, really crucial question to think about. Take a hard look at your own organization. Is it truly designed to compete and thrive in the future? Or is it maybe running on a blueprint that's fundamentally stuck in the past? Business architecture is the tool that can help you answer, and more importantly, change that reality.